When I left the house, I was afraid for my dog and cat.
Looks like you need some chiropractic care. I know some.
Yeah, he's over by Costco.
The best chiropractor in town is over by Costco.
Is that what you said?
That was her joke.
That was my joke.
When she taught class.
It's my husband's joke.
She's out of trouble now.
Our friend, Shelby used to be over there, and he was a really good chiropractor.
He was pretty good.
But now the joke, it doesn't make sense because he's gone, so now I know that it's a lie.
Yeah. It's a farce.
He's someplace, right?
Well, Joy
South
was
Korea.
teaching class for us, and she said, I know a chiropractor, and she started cracking herself up, and everyone's thinking, well, she's talking about us, and then she goes, yeah, he's by Costco. So you were there.
That's awesome.
It was good.
That was great. That was really great. I'm glad you brought me these sardines because we'll have a conversation about sardines today. All right, well, we're in the midsummer lull, right? Also known as summer school in Pangea Chiropractic. So for everyone who hasn't made it to any classes this year, you get to come to summer school. And I promise that they'll be just as good as they were during the school year. That's our joke, right? So I ask people, so you ready for summer school? They say, what do you mean? I say, classes. We get the best lineup in town for the summer. Today we're going to talk about optimal function and nutrition. Next week we're going to talk about energy. Has anyone been to my energy class? Nice. I've taught this one a lot in the community. Maybe did you come to my energy class at the senior center? I don't think you did.
I might have.
She needs a memory class, Joey.
And we'll have a memory class taught by Ruth Ann.
I don't remember a thing.
And then next week on Thursday, I'm teaching my detox class again, once a month for eternity, because it's that important. I have a handout for you, but I'm not going to give it to you because then you'll look at it the whole time.
Until eternity. We won't need that. Anyway. Smart Alex.
Is my grammar off today?
Yeah, some is.
So, optimal function through nutrition. We were just having this conversation here about sardines, and I'll actually talk about sardines because Nate and I both had them for lunch today. It's so great. All right.
How'd you have yours?
I actually, I'll tell you when I get to that part because then I won't ever get started here.
Part. Okay.
So, I think that it's kind of cool that. Well, before we even talk about anything, this is what's been going on inside of my head lately. You get to come here and you get to listen to me speak, and I feel very qualified because of my life commitment to health. And you get to come here and you get to learn. And I'm not telling you that you have to agree with every single thing that comes out of my mouth. And I think I've never said this before, because so many times we're looking for help and answers from our healthcare providers and people who we trust. But sometimes, maybe you don't agree. Maybe you're challenged by something that I say. And if that's the case, I say good because you're thinking like a logical human. Because so many times in our education system and even in life, we don't even know how to ask the right questions anymore. One of my patients today noticed my drug jug up front. You guys know what the drug jug is? Mm-hmm. It's where people can throw their medications when they no longer need them because their body's working the way it's designed to. It's the only one in town.
Can I ask you something about that? How do you know when you're to that point?
Hey, you work with your other doctors who prescribe them to you. Because I'm not going to take you off of your medications because I didn't put you on them. But what happens is that when we get the body working the way it's designed to, symptoms go away, functions start coming back, and people then they ask me, they say, I've been taking this for 15 years. I don't know that I need it anymore. And I say, cool, go talk to your doctor and tell your doctor that. And let's get off of it if you don't need it anymore. Right. So this guy, he comes in and he says, well, what's so bad about aspirin, doc? And I said, I don't know. What do you think? And he goes, it's not going to kill you or anything. So, some people take it every day, and that seems fine to me. I saw someone put it in the drug jug. And I was like, okay, well, what do you think? I said, why do people take aspirin? And he's like, because they hurt or have headaches, and if it helps, then what's the harm of taking it for the rest of your life? It's salicylic acid. Aspirin was designed through research from different plants in the jungle and rainforest. He said it's a natural occurring thing. And okay. Well, do you think that there's anything natural in the salicylic acid that they put in that aspirin? And he goes, I don't know. And I go, I guarantee you that it's lab made, and so it's not the same, number one. And then number two, I said, well, where do you think headaches come from? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, do you get headaches because you don't have aspirin? And he was like, well, no. And I said, so if you're putting something foreign in your body that your body's not normally having in the body, then it's probably going to have some effects. I said, you have homework today. Summer school, right? I said, go on the internet and look up all of the side effects from taking aspirin long term or even short term. Go ahead and look. And I said, and then the next time we come in, let's talk. And he's like, cool. And we high fives. All right. So we just don't sometimes remember that we have a brain and can use it. And if something doesn't feel right, then ask why it doesn't feel right, and let's get an answer. So you don't have to necessarily agree with everything that I say, and I don't have to agree with everything that you say or present me with. But the cool thing about this house, what we've created, is a safe environment that we can honor someone else's opinion, right? And I'm a pretty straight shooter. My opinions, I have some deep feelings about certain things, only because I get to experience health and wellness every day, and there's challenges and struggles and strife that people go through on a daily basis. So my opinions are different than yours because of my life experiences, and yours are different than mine because of your life experiences. So honoring the reality that we all in this country get to have an opinion, and it doesn't matter if we agree, it's your opinion and I honor it, and maybe someday we'll be on the same page, and if we're not, hey, that's cool too, right? So I thought it was kind of cool to say that. So this is what I think of, all right? In this office, and why I love showing up here every day is people come in here with nobody has the same stuff going on in their lives. Impossible. And none of us have the same education, and none of us have the same opinions on things. And this is why I love the open area. In my next clinic, it's going to be even more open and bigger. And you show up with your beach volleyball. You ever go to like a baseball game and some guy blows one up and starts popping it around, or a concert, and you're like, where are these all coming from? Well, people took them in, and they want to just volley them back and forth. That's like this. We get to talk about stuff, and we get to throw the ball up in the air, and we get to volley it around and toss it around and see where it goes. And that's how we can grow together with this health journey, is that we get to volley back and forth these ideas and opinions, and we get to honor people and say, I don't know about this fat thing that you're talking to me about, Doc. I just read this on CNN, or, what do you think? Well, let's volley on that a little bit, and if we need to stay there for a couple weeks, let's stay with it a couple weeks. Let's keep the ball in the air. Don't be the person that shows up with the shotgun and blasts it down. Right? Because then nobody wins. So let's volley some ideas back and forth tonight and see where we can go. Eating healthy, I just started on this crusade in the past 3 months, and I've changed a lot of my life, all in terms of what I'm putting into my body. And I've been really eating well for the past 6 years, more so than probably 99% of people. I think that, in the United States, maybe not 99, but, close. I mean, really dialed in. Because the more you know, the more you know. And the more you know as a healthcare provider, the more you better be walking the line. It's hard for me to tell you one thing if I'm not doing it. And I don't have to give you any drugs or surgeries if I'm not doing it. I get to tell you, hey, this is what I'm doing, and it's working for me, and it's working for all these other people. So, here's your proof. So I get to walk the line here, and I'm just thinking, why is it so hard to eat healthy? Why?
Because it's spendy.
Okay. I've heard it all. Yeah, let's throw some ideas out here. Why else?
We're just ignorant of it.
We don't know.
We don't know how.
We don't know what healthy food is anymore. It's confusing. It's expensive.
You want to eat a balanced diet. You don't really know what that is.
And
because there's so many opinions.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly where I was going with this. You hear one thing from one person, then something from someone else, and then all of a sudden you just end up going out and having some pizza and just having some fun and drinking a Coke. You're like, whatever. Throw your hands up in the air. Okay? I've heard everything. You know, and I've made these excuses myself as well. You know, it's hard to eat healthy when you have kids. You know, the kids, you know, they don't want to eat healthy food, so then we end up going out and we do this and that and the other thing, and then, you know, or it costs a lot of money, or it takes time. What about this one? I don't have time. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I get that. You know, I put in like 15, 16 hours on some days in here. So time is a real concern. Anything else? Habits. Yeah, I'm Italian.
Lots of
Great.
pasta.
Mange, right? Like, we eat. I mean, my Nana and Pop Pop are coming out here. They're leaving. They're coming out here from Philadelphia. I don't know when the last time they left was. They're flying out here to meet their granddaughter next week. My grandfather, maybe he's watching right now. My grandfather sent me food in the mail. You know, like you order steaks and you send them because he wanted to make sure that we had food here. I'm like, Pops, we got food. You know, he sent me like 25 steaks from one of these, you know, Omaha steaks or something. And I'm like, shows up, and I'm like, Pops, what's this? And he's like, I want to make sure we're eating good when I'm out there. Yes, you know, it's what we do. Eat for everything, big meals. By the time you eat lunch, you're already talking about dinner. Okay? So you guys get it. So it's hard because we've been trained that food is no longer medicine. And food is medicine. I mean, it nourishes us. It gives us life. And whatever you put in, Dr. Ashley, I don't know if she coined this, but she's the first person who said to me, you ever hear you are what you eat? She always says, no, you are today, we ate yesterday. So you are what we ate yesterday, right? By the time it gets through your system. So food is medicine as compared to food as a drug. So food is supposed to give us life, and the reality is that most of the food is going to take us farther away from life today. It's just the truth. If it's touched by a man, it might have some complicating factors in the body. You guys know when you go to the grocery store, walk around the outside aisle and then go right to the checkout lane. Because everything in the inside aisle is probably not good for you. You know, so shop the aisles, you'll lose a couple pounds in a year. All right? The emotional component, there's nothing good that comes from the inside aisles except spices. The emotional component with eating is, wow. My favorite food in the world is pizza. I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the rest of my life and be the happiest guy on planet Earth.
Until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow, when I have some gig in the morning. But there's an emotional component with food, and you probably know this better than I do. You know, it's very real and it's very deep, and it makes eating healthy really, really hard. All right, and this happens when we're young. You know, kids are way addicted to sugar today. And I told this to a woman a year ago who has 4 kids. She was here to class, and I told her that I wasn't going to let my kids watch TV, and I wasn't going to feed my kids processed sugars. And she started laughing, you know, and I was like, yeah, really? She goes, I can't wait to meet your kids when they're 2 years old. And she's my friend, so she will, and she lives right around the corner here. And I'm like, I'm going to hold you to that, and that's going to be some motivation to, you know, do some of these things. So I get it. I now have a child. She's not craving sugar at this point in her life because she's 5 months old, but, you know, we'll see. Okay? Someone said, you've been lied to what healthy food is. And I really, really passionately believe that. You've been lied to what healthy food is. And that complicates things even more. All right? The food that, you know, we were eating 60, 70 years ago is not the food that we're eating today. Genetically modified food.
How much food did you eat 60 or 70 years ago?
I'm saying
I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
And a tomato that came out of the garden 60 years ago tastes different than the tomato that comes from the grocery store today. And I don't know what it is, but it ain't the same. It's different.
Gotta grow your own.
Gotta grow your own. Gotta grow your own. So, you know, you're right. So, whatever you've been told and whatever the government wants to tell you about genetically modified foods, it's not true. It is not safe. It is not healthy. It destroys animals when animals eat it. We're animals, it's destroying us. So, truthfully and honestly, really try to eat organic food as much as you possibly can. And it's going to be one of those things that comes out, just like other things that we've talked about in class before, where 20, 30 years are going to go by, and we're going to look back and we're going to go, what the heck did we do to ourselves? It's going to happen with these GMOs. And I know it's going to happen because most countries in the world ban it. If they're banning it, why are we eating it? All right? So, you've been trained to live to eat and not eat to live. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And
It
that
does on an emotional basis.
creates some complications in our model. So, I want to introduce you, some of you heard me talk about this before, some of you haven't. But I want to introduce you to fat for fuel. And I'm going to tell you some ancient healing strategies. But first of all, we have to recognize that there's two ways that the body can run on it, get energy, from sugar or from fat. All right? The sugar burning pathway is an ancient pathway. It's very, very old, and it was an effective pathway when there was low oxygen available. It's a survival technique, okay? Because there wasn't tons of sugar available to us. Think about it. I saw this picture. It says the average American eats this much sugar in a year today, processed refined sugar. And it said 200 years ago, or 100 years ago, they ate this much. 200 years ago, they ate this much. And then before that, it was all coming from berries and fruits. So something has happened. And the main problem with our diet, and the main reason that people are sicker now than they've ever been before, and will be sicker now than they ever have been before, is because we're living on sugar. I'm not telling you that a little sugar is not going to hurt you. I'm telling you that if your body is relying on sugar for fuel, you will not run effectively. And your body will become sick, and your kids' bodies will become sick. And the truth is that, my opinion tells me that if you can get your body to run the way that it has been running for tens of thousands of years, you can be healthier. And if you think about ancient healing strategies, or what cavemen or we were doing thousands of years ago, at the time where we were wandering around hunting and gathering, we would go weeks and months without having any sugar. No sugar. And if you look at different cultures around the world, hunting and gathering, tribal cultures, and even the American Indians, these people would go for months, no sugar. These are also people who didn't have no signs or traces of, and no genetic predisposition for any of these cancers or diseases that we now see today. You can go into the bush somewhere in Africa, or way out into the bush in Australia and meet some of these indigenous tribes. Nothing. They have people there that claim they're 140 years old. And they go, what? And they go, yeah, he's 140 years old. And like, nothing. 140. And we go, what? And they go, yeah, look, I can show you the tablet. He's 140 years old. And you just go, how's that possible? The bodies are running differently than our bodies are. Okay? Sugar is the real enemy of our health. If you want to do a fun experiment, stop eating sugar. Don't eat sugar, don't eat fruit for 2 weeks. And watch what happens to your body. And feel what it feels like to deprive yourself of a drug that your body's been addicted to for your whole life. It's amazing. If you ever want to feel what it feels like to be human again, cut sugar. You'll do this, but then you'll do this, and you'll take off, and you'll be cruising at 33,000 feet with the 747s. It's amazing. Okay? Now, GMOs are destroying your gut. We talked about that a little bit. Now, next, if you really want to feel what it feels like to be human, again, cut the sugar out, and go to the next step and remove grains. Now you're thinking, what am I going to eat? You're eating vegetables. You're going to eat like we would have eaten for 6 months out of the year when we didn't have anything else except some vegetables, some meat, some fish. You know, eat like a human and see what happens. And it's just it's a cool experiment. There's been documentaries and movies on Netflix and YouTube about families who have completely and entirely eliminated grains and sugars from their diet for a year, and they've recorded it. This one woman records what it did to her family, and she had them all weigh in, and she goes, "It's really nicely done." And she's like, shows what the change was in her family's life after a year getting all sugars out of their diet. So it's a great experiment. I think every single person should do this in their life, and
if it's safe for them.
Yeah.
What's that?
Diabetics can present complications with that, right?
Yeah.
If you just like cut it out completely.
That's a deeper
Okay.
topic. Yeah.
After class.
That's an after class.
Yeah.
I know some doctors who only specifically work with type 2 diabetics. Type 1, you're a little bit different ballpark, but type 2 diabetics. And this is a reversible disease. 100%. The reversible disease. It's entirely based, not my opinion, right? Other people's opinions. It's entirely based on lifestyle and diet. So if it's based on that, well, you should be able to heal yourself from that by doing exactly that, changing your diet.
So grains aren't good for diabetes?
Grains are not grown and processed the way they were 10, 15 years ago. And grains are highly inflammatory in the body. So grains can be a troublemaker.
Even like kashi cereal?
Yes. Because there's wheat in there.
Really?
Yep. I'm just telling you the truth.
Here you thought you were healthy.
So
I love my kashi cereal in the morning.
Well, you look good to me.
If you're trying to manage a baseline, stable human shell that's keeping you alive, one thing that you don't want to do very frequently is have a sugar spike, a glucose spike. Because when you have a glucose spike, it changes your physiology, and then your body goes searching for insulin, and then the liver kicks in, and then you start dumping this stuff into the system. And sugar spikes cause craziness in the body. Now, all of us do get glucose spikes when we eat, but here's what you want. You want to be this person. You want to eat, rise up, come back down. You don't want to be this person. And this is 90% of the people that you know, and oftentimes us. I wake up in the morning, feel good, have a little cereal on the way to work. I'm so tired. You get to work, load up the coffee pot, charge through to lunchtime, have some lunch, fell asleep at my desk. That's why kids fall asleep at school. You spike them, and then they drop down. And then you get them, and you run them at recess, get them running again, push through the day. We don't want to be this person. That does nasty things to your physiology over 30 or 40 years. Okay? We want to be just cruising. And when your body runs on fat instead of sugar, you can cruise. I just started two new patients on my detox program this week. And I actually started someone on last Thursday, and I talked to her on my lunch break today, and she's like, "I can't believe how much energy I have." And I go, "What did you change?" She goes, "I haven't had sugar in a week." I go, "Cool." All right. Ancient healing strategies. So I'm not telling you that tomorrow you gotta cut all the sugar out of your diet. I'm telling you, just think about it. Okay? Just think about it. And just know that the main inflammatory distress on all the cells in your body is indeed sugar. Indeed. All right?
How do you make a pie or something?
Well, you have to be really creative.
It just won't be sweet.
That just says it wouldn't taste.
So my mother-in-law said this to me this morning because I was explaining to her what a ketogenic diet is. And she said, "So you're telling me I can't have my twists?" I can't remember where she said.
Licorice twist?
No, it's like a
What type of pasta?
Cinnamon?
no, it's like a pastry, like a donut, a
Oh.
twist. And she said, but I buy one every now and then, and I eat it all day long. I'll take a bite and I'll put it down. I'll take a bite. And I said, here's the deal, Pat. I said, if you really want to be serious about this, you can have a twist, but you need to eliminate it for a couple of months so you can get your body running effectively. I'm not telling you can't have this stuff ever again in the rest of your life. I'm a realist. I understand. I'm probably going to have another piece of pizza in my life. Okay? But this is an ancient healing strategy. Diet variation. When you get your body running without sugar, your body goes into a completely different physiology. Your brain changes. Fact. Sugar is one of the most potent drugs on planet Earth. Because someone who's on sugar, a brain scan looks exactly like someone who's on a hardcore drug or stimulant like cocaine. Exact same thing. You see a kid run around on sugar, you see someone run around on cocaine, I don't know. Their brain is out of control, lit up like a Christmas tree. So you can think about how we lived for tens of thousands of years. The berries bloom and the berries show up. And we eat lots of berries and we eat lots of sugar. Okay? Then the berries disappear. And what's left rots. And now there's no sugar for a really long time. And you might get some sugar from some roots and some like the root vegetables. You make some potatoes, right? That's a starch, that's a sugar. But then all of a sudden they go away and they're gone. So you can add in, and this is one of my strategies for people who do my detox program. You get your body, you really trip your body out and your brain starts going into superhuman mode when you eliminate sugar. And you coast on that for a while. And then what you do is you can throw some grains and you can throw some good fruit sugars back into the system, and your body goes from this to like exponential boom. Because you haven't seen that in so long, your body just goes after it. And it goes absolutely berserk. And now you feel like you thought you were good, and now you go boom, and now you're rocking even harder. And you do that for maybe one day a week, and then you get them off again. And then you go back to that spot. Diet variation, just like our ancestors. If you kill a buffalo, guess what you're having for the next 3 months? Buffalo. And guess what you're not going to do? Is you're not going to waste any of it. You're going to eat the bones, you're going to suck the marrow out of it, you're going to eat the brains, you're going to eat the organs, you're going to eat it all. That's an ancient healing strategy. Bone broth. Something magic comes from those parts of the animal that we throw away now. Right? Oftentimes, when a wild animal kills another animal, they'll eat the most densely nutritious part first. Do you know what that is? Liver, heart, brain, eyeballs. Why does a weasel bite the head off my chicken? Because they bite it off and they eat the brain. That's all they want. That is made up of, what's the brain made up of? Fat. So, when you get your body running on fat instead of sugar, it's fueling your brain. Because then the magic happens. Okay?
So we can eat more bacon.
100% false. If you're doing it properly and you're a meat eater and you're eating good, natural, organic pork, I would say you can go for it. If you're going over to the grocery store and you're buying bacon off the shelf that's full of nitrates and preservatives, I'd say avoid it like the plague. Because pigs are wild and they run around in the wild. So our ancestors would have gone out there with their bow and shot that pig, and yeah, they would have eaten the bacon off that pig. So I'd say go for it. And we talked about this a little bit. Saturated fat is really not the enemy. Really don't think so. That's my opinion. My opinion is coming from people who I trust and have been following for decades. So what happened was that they told us that fat was bad, and you can't make food taste good without fat in it. Skim milk tastes like garbage. I don't care. If you've ever had real milk, you do not drink skim milk. When you take the fat out of the food, the only way to make it taste good is to add what? Sugar. So we went on the low fat craze in the 80s and 90s, and we found out that, oh my gosh, people are getting fat. People are getting really fat because they're eating tons and tons of sugar. And we're doing it because we're just pumping everything full of sugar. Okay, so also something that really exponentially is through the roof rising is Alzheimer's disease. And some people that I'm studying under and really smart, intelligent doctors are saying the main reason is because we've taken fat out of the diet. And the brain is made of fat, so the body needs fat to feed these organs and keep us running. Okay, so if you have Alzheimer's disease, you should not be on a low-fat diet. All right. Another ancient healing strategy is fasting. And I'm not telling you that you should go home and not eat for the next 24 hours. I'm telling you, look at even different, like religious groups. They'll go through a period of fasting. You guys participated in some of this, I'm sure. Say, oh no, or even Lent. I was raised Catholic, and like most people know if they know anything about Catholicism, you don't eat meat on Fridays. It's a form of fasting, okay? And ancient cultures and Native Americans and all these different cultures from around the world, if there was no food, you did not eat, okay? And even our dogs, it's not normal to give our dogs 3 scoops of food 2 times a day. It's a dog. They're supposed to be out hunting and foraging for their food, and technically so are we. Okay, so an ancient healing strategy is to go through periods of fasting every year. Come to my detox class, I'll talk more. Or do intermittent fasting. Okay, and what intermittent fasting is who's heard of, if you want to lose weight, you have to eat many small meals throughout the day.
Yep, you've heard that.
We've all heard that. And you go, oh, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to have a big breakfast, then I'm going to have a mid-morning snack, then I'm going to have my lunch, it's going to be huge, then I'm going to have a 2 o'clock handful of almonds, then at 4 o'clock I'm probably going to have, something else, another handful of nuts or some peanut butter, then I'm going to go home, and then I'm going to have my main meal, okay? This is what you do. Insulin, boom, insulin, boom, insulin, boom. So I'm telling you this. This is what you're going to see. You learned all that you had to have tons of small meals. You're going to see this in the next few years where they're going to say, we were wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the reason is because of ancient healing strategies.
You have to really watch your glycemic index if you're doing that.
Yep.
If you're on a low glycemic intake, then that is the way to sustain.
If you're using,
or not that method.
If you're using fat as fuel, you're not going to have to worry about that.
Gotcha.
And the reason is because your body, fat is like coal. It burns really hot for a really long time. Sugar is like a match. If you really want to mess with your sugar levels, eat sugar. Your body won't be able to manage anything. Okay? So, ancient healing strategy, fasting. There are cultures that fast for weeks. What it does is it gives your body a break. When your dog's sick, does your dog eat?
Yep.
It takes off a day or 2. It doesn't matter if you put bacon. I've tried this before. I tried giving my dog really sick, I tried giving her a piece of salami. I'm like, whoa, this is real. Okay? When we're sick, what do? If your tummy hurts, what do we give your kids?
Chicken noodles.
Yeah, what else?
My parents gave me soup, Sprite, and sometimes...
Yeah, ginger ale and Sprite. So you're sick and you're loading up with sugar. Okay? See how we've learned how to think, okay? But if we can just look and say, oh, the dog's sick, the dog's going to take a day off of eating. Why? Because it's fasting, because the body uses a lot of energy to digest food, and when the body's digesting food, it can't heal, so they're going to stay sicker longer. The chicken noodle soup is probably the best one. I would leave out the noodle, though. I'd just go with the chicken broth. It's probably the best thing to eat if you're sick. Okay? Now, the other strategy for fasting is intermittent fasting. Don't eat less food, eat less often. Okay? Come to my detox class. I'll talk to you in detail about that. So what I thought would be cool, so you can have something to go home with. This is part of my detox program. The first page is things to remove from your diet. The second page is awesome things to add into your diet.
Oh, good. I was going to say, are you going to tell us which fats are healthy? I know you had an
You have to come to my next class. We'll be here all night. Unhealthy fats are things like vegetable oils, Primarily, any type of hydrogenated oils. Okay, I'll make you a copy. Totally. That was my last one. Anyone think of any other unhealthy fats?
Lard. Is that
Processed? Yeah, no. Anything that says hydrogenated on it or trans fat, we'll avoid them like the plague. So go home and get rid of things like your vegetable oils, rapeseed oil, avoid that like the plague. Linseed oil, get rid of it. All this stuff is highly processed, and they put a hydrogen bond on it to keep it. They put it room temperature, and it preserves shelf life. When they put that hydrogen bond onto the oil, it becomes a poison to your
Now
body.
I found my glasses.
Okay?
You know, it seems like you would live longer if you ate a lot of the pudding they have in stores now in these little cups. Where I volunteer, I have to check the code dates, the
Yeah.
full dates, so patients don't eat things that, they shouldn't eat anyway.
Yeah.
Pudding, the expiration date on some of those now is 2018. Oh my God.
Why?
Because it's got so much preservative.
Yeah, you got it.
So if you ate a lot of that, would it preserve you too?
That's an interesting thing.
No, I know
that you
the
bring up.
answer.
I've heard that a lot.
But I couldn't believe
You'd
it.
think so, but then your educated brain would kick in and say, if it's keeping this stuff, it's all dead. You're not getting anything alive in there. So let me just tell you a couple tips of things that I've been living on for the past 3 months that have been great. Sardines, right? They just brought me in these sardines. Okay, sardines are the best source of fish in the ocean because they're the smallest fish and they have really high omega-3s. They have almost no toxins in them. If you're gonna eat fish, you gotta go with the smaller. The smaller on the food chain you go, the healthier the fish. Yeah, bioaccumulation of neurotoxins. Tuna is probably one of the worst, and I love tuna. So if you're gonna have tuna, just limit it. You can go to sardines.
We cancel our own.
Avocados are probably one of the best sources of. I think they're actually considered fruit, aren't they? Yeah, they're fruit. They're one of the best sources of energy that you can consume. I eat usually one a day.
What about if you put mayonnaise in your whole?
Go for it.
Oh!
As long as it's veganase or non-GMO grapeseed mayonnaise. It tastes beautiful too.
Best
There's
food.
olive oil mayonnaise too.
Olive oil mayonnaise. Yeah.
That's really good.
Just don't overdo it, but yeah, a little bit of that is not the end of the world for you.
Just don't stop at mayonnaise. Don't
Grass-fed.
stop at mayonnaise.
Grass-fed beef. My farmer grows goats, so anything natural that's coming from his farm, I'm eating a lot of. I eat lots of raw and some roasted nuts, but raw is really good and better. My favorite nut that manages glycemic index the best in your body is a macadamia nut. So macadamia nuts are awesome. Don't feed them to your dog, she says.
Will the dog die?
Tons and tons and tons of vegetables.
Oh,
Tons and tons and tons of
I was
vegetables.
going to say, if you get really sweet carrots, you don't need sugar.
Yeah, you're right, because there's a lot of sugar in carrots. It's God's sugar. Okay? Now, lastly, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes here. Lastly, nothing that I say matters unless you do something. Alright? I think we've taught, 350 classes since we've been in this office. I was looking at how the carpet's warm back here and teaching classes. Nothing matters unless you do something about it. Okay? And don't go home and feel like you gotta throw away $150 worth of food and clean out your pantry and throw away the Cheetos and Doritos and Fritos. But just know that nothing matters unless you make a tiny change. Take something home with you. Maybe it's to have one avocado a day. Maybe it's to have some sardines because they have omega-3s in them. Maybe it's to not snack throughout the day and have your meals. Maybe it's to just start the process of eliminating sugar out of your life. I'll support you. Email me, call me, text me. Come to my detox class next week. We're going to talk about fasting and fat for most of the class.